Hello, time for another edition of Simply Stated. A few things to get away first coming into the show today. It's a little short show that I always put together for YouTube every few days, maybe only once a week. But I've noticed from analytics, some of you really don't like tuning in when I don't wear makeup. And it's interesting because even the lighting angles make sense. Like in the last show, I wore no makeup. And it was just interesting because certain parts were filmed better, different angles, I look better. So there's definitely attractiveness factor for people watching the show. Today I'm wearing makeup so you can see the difference. Also, I bothered not to have grape juice on my lips or anything else that would make me look like less attractive. As far as makeup goes, it's fairly light. But it is an interesting thing to note as far as the media goes, as to whether or not a woman wears makeup or spends time trying to be cute. It does seem to have a pretty big effect on viewership, actually. I can certainly see it very dramatically in my shows. Anyways, moving on. There's been an interesting rumor floated since I've been following up on in small bits my work that I did in the Thought Project yesterday, much longer in-depth show, which you can certainly go back and watch all the episodes of on my YouTube channel at Deborah Casey. Discussion of Taylor Swift, her stolen work, and the man named Buffalo Bill, the nicknamed Buffalo Bill, serial killer who breaks into the CIA, and it's still free today. There's a rumor now floating on Fox News apparently that Taylor Swift is part of the CIA. That's incorrect. And that's obviously incorrect. And it's a kind of trashy rumor you'd be expecting to find it on a far-right news channel, or one that's considered pretty right-wing in some of its shows, by the F.B.I, which she is actually a part of. As I noted back in the show, the longer show, The Thought Project, just so you know, she was a production of Cersei and Wilhelm, people I nicknamed Cersei and Wilhelm, created way in advance back in the 80s. Doesn't sing, lip syncs. It's hard to know how people actually even go to her shows or how much of them are actually just Photoshop pictures to make it look like people attended. More importantly, in person, she's actually very thin and scraggly. Not someone you would imagine would actually have a relationship to anybody who put any kind of importance on physical beauty. If you note on her appearances for the NFL this season, there's been a huge contrast to Patrick Mahomes' girlfriend, who shows up in bodysuits, and has friends that shows up in bodysuits, and they all look like cute bikini models, and it actually makes sense and is fun for people. They're just like another set of cheerleaders that came to watch the show. Football show, right? Because the games are shows, basically. And you have to consider, ultimately, that Taylor Swift is the most obvious plant for the Russian mafia that you could ever find. More importantly, the F.B.I. director here in the U.S. has announced today that China is going on a massive series of attacks. Remembering that China, as a country, the CCP, works heavily with the Russian mafia. Meaning pretty much everybody in the U.S. has to be alert and wary to what are essentially electric, internet system-based attacks. But of course, those can go all over the place because you get pulse attacks from those, right? Anyways, what I'm ultimately getting at here is that this country, U.S. is attacked again from China and Russia. They're sort of in tandem desire to attack us. And you should not look any differently on Taylor Swift's appearances at the NFL games. It's the same thing. American football is American. It's something that means a lot to U.S. citizens. And frankly, her appearances there this season and what's going on, and the fact that so many people are actually down on the Super Bowl now and aren't even excited about it, is directly related to the idea of attacking an American tradition. That's all it actually is. So make fun of her all you want, ignore her all you want, watch the game if you want, or don't. Because the NFL itself has allowed a few people from the Russian mafia to get too involved and not enough to protect themselves. And that's a decision they have to deal with and address. And this has been another edition of Simply Stated.